I was thinking of the distinction between outreach and engagement, and I think one comes before the other. Outreach, of course, would be coming first, and outreach is really important because outreach really has to do with understanding, your constituents, your community. If you're not from the community itself, all the more incumbent it is for you to know who your community is that you're working with if you're not from that community. Outreach to me is listening, learning, and incorporating what you're listening and learning into something that may be useful for that community that they are asking for. Many times we as professionals and as agencies and organizations, we put out our shingle and say, here, we have the greatest thing since apple pie, come and we're going to give you all these services, and we know what you need, and therefore come and partake. And you think that everyone's going to be flooding your doors because there is such a need. Well, there is a need, but does that mean that they're going to be coming to you just because you put out your shingle and say, we offer individual therapy, family therapy, group therapy, etc., or we have the latest evidence-based practices for you? I think outreach really is a process of learning and incorporating what you learn in order to be responsive to the community that you're serving in a respectful way. We're very communal beings. We like to engage. We need engagement. When we lose that engagement and we become isolated, all of our symptoms, whether they be PTSD or depression or anxiety, escalate. Whereas when we're connected, to our partners in the community, whether they be the faith-based community or cultural groups or your other spiritual leaders, then that's what helps you get through your time of depression or anxiety, and so that connection is critical.
I think there's a number of different circumstances that may help you to decide what types of outreach and engagement are appropriate. We've worked with agencies where we've been told that they do have people from other cultural groups that they haven't worked with before that are coming for services, and they feel that they're not sure they're adequately meeting their needs as a cultural group. And in those cases, I think the types of outreach that they do into the community is a lot like you were talking about, Ken, which is a lot of the listening and trying to better understand why they think that, why their needs aren't really being met, and trying to work with them to alter how they do business to do that. I think there are other circumstances where we've talked to agencies who know there's a community group near them that has a need, but they don't serve at all. And they would like to then engage them and try to see if they can be of assistance and help them solve their community problems. But I do think it's important in engagement to realize that the community has to bring forth what the issues and the problems are. It's very important that they have some sense of what it is that you're trying to do, what you can help them with. But I think there's a number of other types of circumstances too, and you want to be careful not to use the same approach to all of them.
I think really a lot of you guys should consider starting a peers group within your own community, so that way you guys have that bridge between me and him. He's a professional and I'm just a consumer, but if I could tell more people what he does and experience what he does and go back to my community, it makes it that much more easier for people to understand. Because like me, I didn't know nothing. I just knew I was going through a traumatic situation, and I had to get help, and then now here I am with everybody looking at me.